that's been kicked in the nuts by fake news. Nobody knows what to believe.
I don't know what I said.
We need one maverick newsman to cut through all the noise and tell us what's really real.
I'm not that guy.
Hello! Welcome to Really Real with Richie Redding. I'm Richie Redding, and I'm excited. We had such a fun little week of events. I feel like this week was just about just sitting with all the shit that happened last week, and an absolute fucking explosion of thinking things are psyops that probably aren't psyops. And but good golly, was it a silly week? We've got all the actual real current events that matter to cover, but I will say that my move leaving this fucking building ahead 40,000 gallons of water or whatever it was drop on it is officially underway, and I will soon, we're just 2 weeks away from complaining about my Chinese landlords. It's just we're jumping out of the fire pan into the fire on this, and they're already being extremely passive aggressive. Looking forward to it. But I don't know if I ever told you my policy, Bobby, of tipping my blue collar brethren excessively.
No, you haven't.
Yeah, that the whole staff here at this building, like, you know, they jump for whatever we ask them to do, because it used to be I would just tip them with plain old cash, but now we also the drug dealer at one of the comedy clubs that I'm at all the time has just been either giving away or very cheaply selling the weed candies, and I've been tipping those guys with hands full of those things now, and they are just jumping at the opportunity to do stuff for me. Couldn't be any happier about it. The play that I made was that I think I can get away with not buying boxes, because last time we spent so much fucking money on boxes that I was just like, yo, if you guys just poach all of the good boxes out of the out of the recycling area, when people that move in put them out there, like, I'll make sure that you come out ahead. There's like, we're on it. These dudes have already stacked up like $300 worth of boxes for me, and
yeah.
and the last time I tipped these guys with the candies, I gave them, it was like, it's gotten progressive, that it started out with like a bunch of 10 milligrams, and then it went up to 25s, and then there was a bunch of 50s, and I'm giving them out to, like, and it's so funny too, because I've been sober for 15 years, and I've given all of these guys the 50s, and they're like, all right, careful, this is a 50, like, yeah, we're good. The first guy they gave it to was in the garage, and pretty sure he passed out in the garage. He was like the valet, because my car never got checked in, and then I saw somebody the next morning, and they were like, yeah, dude, fucking, I parked in the car. It was like it was after me. It was like 2 hours after me. He's like, never got checked in. It was still there this morning. Like, oh shit. So he got zonked, and then also the guy that's the super. I was like, how's the 50? He was like, yo, dude, it was fucking intense. He's like, I was with my girl. I just like couldn't talk. I was just sitting there like fucking trying to hold on. And I just gave the new batch, for whatever reason, are 100 milligrams, which I don't even know what that's like at this point. Like, when I was in the weed game, it was just like, we just put an ounce of swag in and cooked that up, and you just had brownies that got you eat high for an hour or 10 hours, depending on how these things came out. And I was like, dude, be careful with the hundreds. Like, you gotta chop them up into like 3 or 4 pieces. He was like, you know what, man? I think I'm just going to take it. It's like, all right, like you're that kind of adventurer. I am not, but I'm telling you, tip your fucking blue collar dudes. That it started for me when I was in Philly. That I'd put a case of beer out around Christmas time, like on ice, and just like with a sign that said like "Merry Christmas, please return." I could literally put a dead body in the trash, and these guys would cover for me. So come on, you got to put those relationships to work, folks. But yeah, this weekend was fun. And I was at Gotham, which I told Bobby that he should come by, and he did not. But it was really funny that I was in the green room, and the manager came by, and he's like, somebody named Mike Epps just called and asked if he could do a guest spot. It's like, you think it's him? I was like, I mean, it'd be really weird if there's just some open micer named Mike Epps that has the balls to, to just ask if he could do a Friday primetime show. And I know his manager from years ago from doing shows together. And like, I like picked up the phone. It was like, all right, well, does it start with this area code? He was like, yeah. I was like, well, you might have Mike Epps coming. And Epps showed up, and he's in like just such an OG, like just full velour, like a jogging suit. And he walked in by himself, which is completely like different than, because I've only seen him at big shows, because so he would show up with like three or four people of like some kind of entourage. And like dapped him up, and like, hey, you remember me? He's like, yeah, we did shit in Massachusetts or something. I was like, yeah, you actually remember. But he never actually saw me, like he never saw me on stage, so it was always a little bit of distance there. And then I made it a huge deal that I was bringing him up, but it was an audience of like probably on average 24-year-olds and a ton of white girls. So they had, they don't know next Friday, and all this shit. So I made this huge deal. I was like, folks, you got to keep your phones away. But they're like, it's going to be Seinfeld, and like Mike Epps. And it was like this clear, like weird moment. And dude, I don't think and I've seen him destroy, like, I mean, rip the fucking paint off the walls in black rooms. That the first time I ever saw him live, I was supposed to be doing chocolate sundaes in at the Laugh Factory at the Laugh Factory
Every Sunday at the Laugh House.
yeah, in Hollywood. And it was the first time I ever met Donnell. And before he went up, I was like, yeah, it's Richie Redding. He's like, yeah. I was like, Richie Redding, because Black Hosts are notorious for especially forgetting white guys' names somehow. And so he did like a few minutes, and he's like, all right, this next dude, fuck, man, what is his name? Man, you made such a big deal out of me knowing your name. You said it so many times, I forgot your name. Like, yeah, that's not how memory works. Like, this is not on me. I tried to get you to take my name on stage, refuse to do it. He does 10 minutes on it being my fault that he forgot my name. And in that 10 minutes, Mike Epps shows up next to me and like literally like gives a push, like pushes me a few inches to the side and goes like this to Donnell. Donnell's like, ladies and gentlemen, Mike Epps. And the place goes crazy. He went up and did like 80 minutes, 80, like, of just destruction. And around the like 40-minute mark, I'm giving myself this pep talk, and it's like, I can follow this still. Yeah, I'll be okay. And then the 60-minute mark is like, ooh, this is a lot to follow. And then thank God, like right at the 80-minute, or like right before it ended, the guy, this promoter, came over to me. He's like, it's a wrap, just so you know. It's over. Like, so show was over, and I wound up never getting up there like ever again. So he like permanently bumped me from that room. But so this time it was an absolute science experiment of what happens when you put a hood legend in a white girl comedy room. And like me and all the comics and his management team were on the side dying because like he didn't he didn't calibrate or adjust at all. He's just doing his like full on round the way shit, and which was I mean it was way funnier than if he had like gone up and gave them what they want. That he's like, yeah, I see a lot of young girls in here, ladies. Never fucking do before he brushes teeth. And it's just they're just like, huh? He's like, you don't want some motherfucker with an undone root canal sucking on your titty. Next thing you know, your nipple got halitosis with your stinking ass titties. And like we're on the floor on the side, and it's like, he's like, never fuck for free neither. The thing about growing up in the hood, you never know who fucked your mama. And it's all these girls from Connecticut that are just like having a complete disconnect from the scene while the comics are just dying on the side. So fun. It was, yeah. So I don't know. Long story short, hopefully I'll be doing some shows with Mike Epps soon because got to jive with it. Yeah, got to reconnect with him, which was cool. Who I won't be doing any shows with anytime soon, I would bet your bottom dollar, is Roseanne Barr. Woo! This girl really knows how to go for it. She really does. Can you pull that jobby up there, Bobby? That John, the old Bobby jobby. So okay.
So it wasn't rigged.
First of all, I'm I'm always I will always be comedian first, right? And like whenever somebody steps in it, it's like I'm always going to defend the joke, and I think that a lot of the time the when they take a joke out of context, it's like it's obviously a ploy to like take just the punchline or something as a way to set somebody up for failure, and who doesn't have some shit, or just a joke that that didn't work or whatever. But hers was, it was like I saw this and it was like, okay, well there certainly has to be more context. It's like, now Barr's made another alarming comment telling him that she was on Theo Von's podcast last week, telling him that nobody died in the Holocaust, before adding, it should happen. 6 million Jews should die right now because they caused all the problems in the world. And it was in the middle of talking about how you can't speak on election denialism. Right, and she's making the point that you can't even say anything about the election because YouTube decided that speech is not allowed, but play it.
So it wasn't rigged.
Of course not.
Yeah.
36 counties have 81 million people in them.
Yeah.
See? That's the truth. And
Yeah.
don't you dare say anything against it, or you'll be off YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and all the other ones, because we have, there's such a thing as the truth and facts, and we have to stick to it. And,
It's scary.
and that is the truth. And nobody died in the Holocaust either.
No.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
It should happen. 6 million Jews should die right now because they cause all the problems in the world, but it never happened. But it never happened.
Yeah.
Mandated.
Well, because you're part Jewish, right? Part of your family's Jewish?
Stop right there. It's fucking poor Theo is just sitting there watching his show disappear from the internet. It's like, you're Jewish, right? Like, yeah. I mean, dude, the thing about jokes is somebody has to know that you're joking. Like, if you're gonna like, I mean, Gomez on Lewis or Lewis Gomez on Alicia Skaggs all the time says things like, and the Holocaust was fake, shit like that. But it's like it's obviously part of a shtick, dude. I mean, she's already set her life on fire twice, right? And then she's kicking that hornet's nest. And I kept watching it too, like to try to find the actual jokes. And it's like, no, she's just saying this shit completely straight faced. And I mean, the only thing that would give you the indication that she's joking is before it, she has on like an Abe Lincoln hat, and she basically just looks like fucking like Carly Simon as a witch doctor or some shit. Like she's not a well person, dude. Oy. But whoever
Do you work in
would've-
IT? Oh, you do?
the fuck was that, Bobby?
YouTube thought we needed an ad.
Ah, thank you.
Appar-
We do. We need
apparently-
ads, YouTube. Us, not Theo. He's doing great.
Apparently, while everybody's watching it, they're still going to make sure it's monetized.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, good for him. He had RFK, but his RFK episode was one of the first ones to disappear, and it was from like 2 years ago. And I mean, if that one sticks around on YouTube, maybe because they're talking about YouTube, there would be some kind of thing where it would be like too on the nose for them to censor it, but but yeah, we'll get to RFK later on. There is also an Epstein update that hit right before we started filming. That earlier today, there's a thing that J.P. Morgan has to pay $233 million to the Victims Fund with no cap on individual claims, and also no limitation on when there's like no, what's the term that I'm looking at? Statute of limitations on how long it was before they can claim. And it's all because of that Virgin Islands suit that was brought, that they were involved and knowingly kept participating in it. But it's just so crazy that basically the CIA has been able to outsource their blame over to JP Morgan, and like JP Morgan is paying the tab now for their continued involvement with them. But also, nobody has ever been friggin' called to the carpet for still continuing to do the financing for Les Wexner, the guy that's probably behind it, for some reason gave this guy $1 billion, or Leon Black, who saw him 100 times in 2 years. 100. He saw him every week for 2 years straight. I don't have a single friend that I'm that close with. If that wasn't a standing pussy appointment, nothing was. But
they're gonna.
yeah.
When they come for you, Richie, they're gonna use our Zoom meeting every week and be like, he met with Redding every week for an hour. They couldn't have been doing a podcast. 33 viewers, no way.
But it's huge on Spotify. That's hilarious. Fuck you for that. But yeah, so this was the thing. The Justice Department's Inspector General released the report on the death of Jeffrey Epstein today. He was given extra linens and no cellmate, which led to his death. A month before his death, his cellmate told staff that Epstein tried to hang himself with his jumpsuit. Epstein claimed someone tried to kill him, and then Alter refused to talk about it. Refused to talk about it. Epstein was cleared from suicide watch less than a day after allegedly trying to hang himself. So at the very best interpretation of it is that if he did actually do it himself, he was taken off of suicide watch and given extra hanging material at the same time. Dude, that's a pro tip. If you are ever afraid, if you find yourself in some kind of correction and you're afraid that they're gonna try to do you in, and a whole bunch of extra sheets show up, publicly and loudly refuse those things. Like, nope. I sleeps buck ass naked. I do. Just throw them out there, or try to flush them down the toilet. You are definitely going to get fucked up by those sheets. But scooting right along. The sub, our beloved sub, the submersible, it is gone. So what's so crazy about this thing was that by the time that we talked about it last week, that the Navy already knew that that thing was toast, and they were going through this monkey run of letting the whole world speculate. But also, there's supposedly this massive like tab that might get, like they're gonna like submit it as an insurance claim from the Blue Horizon guy, or whatever the name of this company was, that the Titans company is going to have to pay the bill for them to keep searching for the sub that they knew imploded a long time ago. But it was like a week of intentionally just misleading people, which, look, thank you, because it led to the dankest memes that we've ever seen, right? Respect for that. But I don't know, the thing that was so funny about it was the all the online scolds that were writing articles and tweeting and shit about, like, what does this mean? What does it mean? Our lack of empathy for these people. Like there's all these posts about, like, oh my God, my thoughts and prayers are with them. Just can't imagine running out of air like that. I mean, what we now know that they just imploded instantaneously and turned into slurry faster than their brains could actually process pain. But yeah, I mean, it is interesting because it's the biggest collective Schadenfreude. How do you say it? Is it Schadenfreude or Schadenfreude of taking pleasure in the pain of others? You know which one it is?
I think it's Freud, because he enjoyed
Freud.
that.
Yeah, he shot into that, did he?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, Freud shot in that shit big time, bro. Yeah, yeah. Smoking opium, just fucking shot in some Freuds. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely never been greater shot of Freud, but there's also never been bigger fucking hubris than 4 billionaires. Well, I guess it was 3 billionaires, the son, and the pilot, right?
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the all-time DEI L that this guy took for diversity, equity, inclusion. Did you see the interview of him saying that he doesn't hire 50-year-old white guys because it doesn't make for a compelling story?
I saw that, then I saw all my blue collar white friends retweet it and be like, I guess I'm an inspiration now.
Yeah, it's like, there's some things where you want the most boring white guy humanly possible, right? Like, you get rid of boring white guys and you get Biden's non-binary luggage thief, like playing around with nuclear codes. Like, no, boring white guy. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've done shows in the hood where there's like something like a fucking wire that's like got an exposed end on it, like right in front of the comedians' faces, and same thing every time. Like, guys, white electrician. I want I want an old white electrician that shows up in rubber boots. Like, give me somebody that's boring as fuck for this job. But yeah, dude, the thing, one of the craziest things that I saw on it was there's a picture of it's like a computer monitor is plugged, it's screwed in to a carbon fiber wall, And like, so for starters, the carbon fiber was made for space. I'm sorry, was made for planes, and it was also expired. Like it was past the sell by date from Lockheed Martin. Isn't even supposed to be underwater in the first place. It's like the problem with carbon fiber is that if it's slightly pierced in any way, it turns brittle as shit. And this guy was this dickhead, like, what if we screwed into it? Just a legend. Just a legend. The real bummer is that Logitech is is somehow Logitech's stock went down even further as a result of this. Nobody thought that it was a good fucking that these were good controllers, and somehow it went further down as a result of this whole thing. But the shit that was legendary was some of the comments on these were amazing. But 1 star, look elsewhere for your submarine needs. Got one of these for my submarine expeditions to the bottom of the ocean and the depths of hell. It worked great for Sonic the Hedgehog, so I'm surprised it didn't work out. Please call the Coast Guard. Thanks. That's just a good time. But yeah, the stepson is, if any good comes out of this thing, it will be if this kid can somehow keep his 2 minutes of fame going, because the dude is a legend. But the whole thing started with the stepson because it was Tom DeLonge. How do you say that last name? DeLonge? Got it.
Yeah, the French.
DeLonge. He's at the show and he got a text message saying that my dad, or yeah, my stepdad is on the lost sub. I'm at the show. Like, good luck. Like, what do you do with that DM, dude? Yeah, but so look at I felt like the pictures of this guy, they were always like pretty zoomed out, because I thought he was the 19-year-old, like that he, because from a distance he looks like a schlub, just like some schlubby kid. Zoom in on this grown man child, one of the greatest fail sons of all time. Can you get that bigger, Bobby? Yes. That dude is violently autistic. If you can't pick up on that from the outset, that's good. But what were you gonna say, something, Bobby?
No.
Oh, well, yeah, he was getting slammed for shooting his shot at all the OnlyFans chicks and shit. But I think that we're really losing sight of the stepson aspect of this. Stepson.
Yeah.
The guy that was on the boat was 20 years older than him. So he's just some rich guy that his mom is fucking. There's no way that they were close.
He's also the autistic son of the woman that the rich guy's fucking. He hates this kid. He did not treat this kid well.
Right. Yeah, this had to be a two-way street, right?
Yeah.
But let's dig into this legend a little bit. That yeah, I mean, first of all, the fact that he got schooled by Cardi B and then clapped back at her is amazing. But where was it? Yeah, Tucker Carlson reached out to him directly, but there's this thing from Us Magazine, so you know it's true. Has Brian Saz ever been accused of a crime? Funny you should ask. In June 2021, he was detained for online stalking, according to a court filing. Oh wait, called it. Saz was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome at 15. Did not look that up first, folks. That's That's plain old eyeballing that boy's skull. That's just some armchair physiognomy right there. His attorneys cited as a factor in his being being socially stunted. Mr. Says would often find friendships online, the filing read. During a particular exchange, a heated discussion ensued that resulted in physical threats made by all involved parties. But according to the Los Angeles Times, Saz allegedly posted threatening tweets to women in the rave community in summer of 2021. In one resurfaced social media post, he allegedly targeted Alice in Wonderland, that's some raver goofball's name, writing that he would show up to her LA apartment. Oh, and then also in 2007, he was arrested on two counts of armed robbery after he and another suspect allegedly robbed two convenience stores and stole $700 along with 14 cartons of cigarettes. That and other suspects were caught. Yeah, after an wait a second. Here, this is. Remember when I told you this dude was the fail son? I had only glanced at this for very momentarily. Okay, so he robs a convenience store. So let's assume this robbery happened before the stepmom or before the billionaire stepdad comes into the picture, right? Just him and his mom, just living that fucking single mom life. Him and some other ass bag go out and rob a convenience store for cigarettes, basically. Respect. And then here's the clincher. They were caught after an oncoming train hit their car. No one was injured in the crash. Bruh, this dude needs to be celebrated. We give this fucking kid, he's the show. He is the show. Let's get this guy a Charlie Sheen size coke habit now that he's got this. Or what would Hunter Biden do? What would Hunter do with that with that inheritance that he's coming into? Let's get this kid geeked up to the gills and just follow him around making bad decisions. I am into this. Dude, how does that
The Adventures of Hunter and Brian would be the hottest reality show ever on television.
The two failinist sons. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. Hey, there is my stepdad instantly imploded on teen, pal. There's so
it's the opening scene as Joe comes in. He's like, Hunter, no more money. You understand? And he's like, don't worry, Dad. I have a new friend. And in walks Brian. Yeah. It's called The Prodigal Sons, now on the Soup Network.
Right, and they're playing Xbox only with Logitech controllers, just a little wink and a nod. But dude, how bad do you have to fuck up a crime, a getaway, for your train to get hit by a car? I'm sorry, for your car to get hit by a train. Like, I'm trying to parse out. Okay, so they stole $700 along with 14 cartons of cigarettes. Again, re-fucking-spect. Saz and the other suspect were caught after an oncoming train hit their car. No one was injured in the crash. So did they leave? Did they run into the convenience store, like just park it on the tracks? Dude, the cops will never looking for it here, right on these railroad tracks. Or, I mean, there's the only two ways for your car to get hit by a train. It's so crazy. It is so fucking crazy. You either parked it on the train or you tried to drive down the train tracks because it said an oncoming train.
Yeah, here's what I'm thinking happened. They robbed the convenience store. They're running. The cops are not chasing them because it does not say after a high-speed chase. So there were no cops in pursuit when they got hit by the train. They just panicked, tried to beat a train across the tracks, and it took off the back half of their car, like a block from the convenience store. The cops were like, hey, anybody know what happened with those two? And the convenience guy was like, yeah, they just robbed me.
But also, no one was injured in the crash. You think just the trunk got hit?
So it took
Because,
off the
look,
back tires. They were okay, but couldn't drive anywhere. And the cops were like, hey, we were looking for you.
don't know. Saz and the other suspect were caught after an oncoming train hit their car. Doesn't mean, it doesn't say it hit the vehicle they were driving in. I think they parked it on the tracks. I always thought the coolest getaway vehicle would be, the like when you see them on Amtrak, there's the pickup truck that has that like the wheels come up and the thing just rides right on the tracks. That's basically like this souped up redneck version of having one of those pumpy jack things. You know what I mean? The old timey pumpy jacks. Neither of you dickheads are looking. Unacceptable.
It's called
Pumpy
producing,
Jack
Richie. It's called producing.
What's the pumpy jack car called though?
I think it's called a hand train.
A hand train.
Yeah, because I'm not good at trains. I'm sorry.
A hand train sounds like the most innocent gangbang. Yeah, we ran a hand train on her, dude. Tugga. But yeah, that is so fucking funny though, dude. How in the hell do you manage to get hit by a train? Yeah, so you think they were just super nervous and like just trying to make a getaway, and they tried to beat a train that like wasn't even going to get them caught. It's like the sheriff wasn't even on their tail type thing. It's
Yeah,
not like in the movies you beat a train because the sheriff is on your tail.
Exactly.
But you think they were just like
they were just panicking out of like, we just robbed a store. Hang on one second,
Yeah.
though, and I can have the answer.
and they're smoking all these cigarettes at the same time. They both got like 6 cigarettes lit. We can't lose our beloved cigarettes. But here's why this guy
Nope. Even better. We forgot a third possible option.
went down the tracks.
Nope.
Okay. Went down the tracks, went up the tracks, hit by the thing, abandon it. Wait. Okay, because you're saying it that way, they left the car in neutral and it rolled onto the tracks.
No, it got stuck. They blew a tire and the car got stuck on the tracks, completely unrelated to running from the police or anything else.
This kid rules. Oh, this kid's great. How stuck? Like,
Oh.
I mean, we've all had a blown tire before. You can't just get that motherfucker 3 more feet on that tire? Or was he like, no, dude, trust me, man. My dead dad told me about this. You never drive on a blown out tire, bro. Oh, this guy's amazing.
The man demanded cash while apologizing to the clerk. Quote, claiming, I'm sorry, but I'm out of cash. End quote.
I mean, that is why you rob. That's good on him for that, I suppose. But so this story does get better. The next thing in Us Weekly is, why did Brian Saz sue San Diego County? After his June 2021 detainment, Saz filed a lawsuit against the San Diego County for negligence and battery, claiming that he was denied access to medication he needed to treat his type 1 diabetes. He also alleged he was brutally attacked by a fellow inmate after he expressed that he felt uncomfortable being housed with the person. In that court filing, Saz's attorney confirmed that he had been detained at the Vista Detention Facility in Southern California in connection with online stalking charges pressed against him. Wait, was he not detained? He was detained for the for the online stalking, but not the 2 accounts of armed robbery?
Let me find out.
Because he would have been how old? He was 35 when he caught the stalking shit, and it was oh dude, he was like it was 14 years before that. 35. No, he was 21 when he but yeah, so he's in jail and he's complaining that he needs his diabetes medication, and also I'm uncomfortable being housed with this gentleman to the left of me, and then that gentleman beat the living fuck out of him. Yeah, his own attorney said he's not good at reading social cues on account of the Asperger's. Maybe he didn't realize that within earshot of his psycho roommate, he shouldn't say he's not comfortable being around his psycho roommate. It's a lesson to us all. I don't know. That dude rips. I hope he gives the best fucking stepson speech. I feel like he could really have a very bad, completely disinterested speech that he could give at the memorial. Something real rhymey, something just a simple shitty poem that he's gonna pull out of his Padres jersey that says 182 on the back.
Accompanied by music he wrote himself.
Yeah. Oh, dude, there's nothing worse than like a bad tribute poem. I'll never forget this. The head coach of our football team in high school passed away my senior year, and he was like a beloved person in the whole community. And a like 16-year-old offensive lineman went up in front of the whole school and read a poem about Coach Burns. And dude, a third grader would be like, "Well, it rhymed." Like that was the only thing that you could say in defense of this thing. It was so good and bad, but I feel like our boy Brian can possibly outdo it.
Oh, for sure.
You think he gets any money out of the deal?
Not until his mom dies.
Yeah, he's still got a whole layer of death.
Mom, you like the Titanic?
Yeah. No, he just starts trying to get mom to go to space and shit. Like, what kind of dangerous shit could I get her to do?
He just introduces her to his old cellmate.
Yeah. Right. And then he goes to fucking Woodstock 2023 while she's on ICU.
He buys Warped Tour.
Yeah. But all right. Well, we're keeping an eye on that kid. But RFK lifting was the funniest clip of the week. And wow, this episode's flying by, Bobby. Just when I think we're not going to have anything, we get 20-something minutes out of the retarded son of a.
I laughed so hard when I got that text. Like, we have plenty.
Yeah, you know me. Dude, RFK lifting is so fucking funny that I mean, we've all seen the video at this point, but just pull up that video. That he appears to be in the yard. Like, where is this outdoor 50 weightlifting benches where guys are like working out in jeans and no shirts? But yeah, play that real quick.
What's that beach they all work out on in California?
Venice Beach.
Yeah, he's at the Connecticut version of that.
The Gold's Gym. So, dude, the amount of sucking off that only right-wing guys are giving him, like the horseshoe is in full effect with RFK, that somehow the most right-wing guys now suddenly love this Kennedy, who before the Clintons, they were the face of evil. They were the conspiratorial cabal that really killed people, really raped people, like it made their fortunes running booze during the fucking prohibition. Like they were the criminal. They're real criminals, and also shot through with disease. JFK was like weeks away from dying. That bullet put him out of his misery. His kidneys were shutting down as he spoke. But that they are now worshiping this guy, and the pictures of RFK Jr. next to Bill Gates. It's like one of these guys claims to be a health expert. Which one do you trust? Like, wait, is that how we're gonna do this now? Like, that's how you decide who's smart, is by who's jacked out of their fucking mind. Like, did you not have a high school football team? Were those guys the valedictorian? What what are we doing here? It's like they're suddenly like trying to turn this, and like dickhead Betty Johnson is like it posted a picture, that same picture. It was like him, like, side by side. It was like, this is the man that the left says can't possibly beat senile Joe Biden. Good luck with that. That is not how you pick a president, dude. This isn't Viking times where in order to become the president, you just have to kill the president, right? It's just trial by combat, just every time. We would have Killmonger as our fucking president. Like, what are we doing?
He's putting up 115. Let's stop pretending like those are 45 plates. That's a 25 and a 10.
Yeah, that's the other thing that nobody is talking about, that I can for sure push that amount of weight. but it's also like they're posting these pictures, and it's like, this is what life without big pharma looks like. This is a walking anti-vax tribute. First of all, nobody, including him, has ever said that he wasn't vaccinated. You think the son of the Kennedys wasn't vaccinated as a kid? Of course he was. Of fucking course he was. Just the fact that somehow during the pandemic, the script flipped, that we were usually like, it always used to be coded, anti-vax was coded left wing, right? It was the Hollywood sickos that were anti-vax, and then somehow this fissure happened because the vax came on board during Brandon's presidency, even though it should for sure be Trump that got credit for it. I don't give a fuck about Trump, but it was Operation Warp Speed that got this thing. But because it was during Brandon's presidency that the right turned against this thing, it's the horseshoe come like boomerang is just happening so fucking fast now. It's unbelievable.
And they're missing the fact that the main thing he's attacking is what Trump used to get the vaccine done faster than anything, which was that mandate that they put in place for emergency release, got done through the workings of Trump. Like, their boy worked out the thing that RFK is directly attacking.
Yeah, but this was basically enough for me to come back around and be like, oh, wait a second. Like, why am I listening to this guy at all about any kind of anything medical? Like, because he's jacked? Like, I don't know. And that is not TRT, dude. That's not testosterone replacement. That man is 70 years old and he's got like dicks for veins. That ain't some normal kind of just getting you back to even type shit. He's not just topping him off. But honestly, I think that the thing that we need to really focus on with him is how. Do you know why his voice is like that?
No.
Heroin. Supposedly, his voice got fucked up from having Hep C and the treatments that he got from Hep C. So it's heroin is the reason.
I was out, but now I'm back in, baby. Let's go, Kennedy.
Yeah, it's like Like for some reason, I assumed that he broke his voice like standing up for the downtrodden or something, or he jumped in the way of a baby that was about to get vaccinated and it just tore out his voice box. Nope, just plain old doing skag ass heroin and sharing needles in the 70s and 80s. Respect. But it's like, and look, I'm friends with lots of junkies, but I'm not taking my health advice from these motherfuckers. That's for sure. One of my favorite Jack Guy moments ever was there was these insane Guido gorillas at my old gym in Hamilton. This dude was so jacked that he literally just picked up a 145 like this and another one like this, and he's just holding them there. And he's like, and one was the solid plate, like just completely solid, you can't see through it, and the other one had like the three big holes in it. He's like, how the fuck you want to tell me that this weighs the same as this? Seriously, with all these fucking space missiles, you think this thing weighs the same? I was like, you should be the president of the United States. It's settled. But so what are we gonna get to? Yeah, I feel like I gotta cover this. So the Russia insurrection thing, I'm not gonna go into all the details of it, but it was such a whirlwind of belief, like of not being sure if I should believe this shit or not, because I'm very guarded and totally think that some shit is a psyop, right? And I did for a while with this guy when, I woke up and Drudge Report was just covered in like it's a civil war, but and also it was like the guy that Elon was really pushing, that dude Mario, whatever the fuck his name is, Nawful. It was like, this is a civil war. The coup continues. Here's the latest updates. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. But I just kept waiting to see like, okay, so where's the shooting? Where's where's the actual sign of this thing being a civil war? And the reason I was like completely click on chill insurrection. The reason I didn't buy it was this thing. No, chill insurrection, the next one down. So there was video being taken, that was being posted from the Wagner Group guys that showed that showed like these dudes like running up and covering a corner and and then taking cover. Make that bigger. And then somebody posts this. You got to see it more from the beginning, I think. There's civilians just hanging out on this corner, and the guy that just got up from that side appeared to be filming them as they fall into position. Like, it's a really, really chill insurrection. Yeah, the guy that's squatting right there, he's just hanging out. One guy with a machine gun comes, another guy with a machine gun comes, but there's no troops on the other side. That's what they're setting up against. There's nobody there. So they're just doing this shit like for the cameras. Right? It's like, I don't know. Doesn't look like that much of an insurrection. So like the kind of middle ground take on it was that, like, what if it was some people thought it was the total Ukraine heads were like, oh my God, this guy's going to take out Putin and it's going to be we need to, like, President Biden needs to recognize him right away. He's going to return the the region to order and all this shit. It's like, no, this is a war criminal, plain old criminal that's been the lunatic that has been, like, his troops were the former prisoners that were supposedly like killing Ukrainian women with sledgehammers, and now the left is cheering for them to take on Putin. Like, oh, so this is the new guy, right? It's like it's all like the Saddam problem with whoever replaces Putin. Like, it's not going to be a good dude. Like, he might be, right. Like, there's ISIS is coming. It's not going to be NATO. It's going to be Russian ISIS. So it's going to be some other fucking maniac. But the the thing that was really kind of a brain breaker was how and it kind of lent itself to conspiratorial thinking, which was that, like, he moved these troops all the way to 200 miles away from Moscow, and then was just allowed to disband without any kind of punishment. Because, like, I thought it was going to end with them up against the wall, right? Like, I thought they were getting killed for sure. But it was like, he's going to go to Belarus and stop this insurrection, and everybody that was part of the insurrection is going to have to sign a contract with the Russian government to fight directly for them and not take their orders from this PMC anymore. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, that doesn't make any sense, because, like, thinking that it was that, like, maybe Putin was behind it and he was doing this to signal to the Ukraine that they were in trouble, to draw them out and maybe see if there was some other kind of insurrectionists in his own government that would come out against him, and he could, like, trap those guys. And that would make sense of this guy just getting to go away. But the problem is that Putin looks like a huge pussy now and didn't kill this guy, and he didn't kill any of these other guys. And all they did was they moved 3,000 Chechens from somewhere else in Ukraine to fight these other Chechens and war criminals that were coming down the highway. So they just made chaos. I think, like, the only real take is that it's just not a real country. Like, like anybody that has that silly squiggly ass alphabet, like, they're bozos that have some nukes. That's all. They've got oil money, they've got nukes, but they're fucking bozos. Like, that's and supposedly Putin is like extremely paranoid, and I've read things that in his spare time he watches Gaddafi's death on a loop. That, you ever see Gaddafi's death when he literally got knife sodomized to death? He watches that just, like, as a way to, like, keep himself on his toes. So, like, this doesn't seem like a dude that lets something like that slide, right? So, and then how does this dude, what's his fucking name? That goofy ass name. Where is it? Oh, you know the guy I'm talking about.
Wagner?
No, it's not. His name's not Wagner. It's Prigozhin. Like, yeah, how does he go to Belarus and he's just like, oh well, if I know anything, they'll keep their word that I'm allowed to live forever. When, like, 2 other Ukrainian presidents got murdered, every one of Putin's enemies has been poisoned and turned blue and shit. And this guy's just going to live out his happy days. But he is an absolute G, that dude. That he have you read anything about his backstory?
No, I haven't.
That he was literally a hot dog salesman. He had a hot dog cart, and he somehow parlayed that into having because he like couldn't get normal jobs because he had spent like 20 years in prison or something. Like it was like 9 for fraud and then like another 12 for just like attacking a woman in the street. Somehow he parlayed a hot dog stand into having a restaurant that Putin ate at, and then he like bullshitted his way into being his caterer, and then like the next thing you know, he's got like multi-million-dollar deals of catering shit for the Kremlin. Like it's an absolute cronyism success story. Hats off. We love a strong man. That's what. If we've taken one lesson away from RFK and Putin and this Prigozhin guy, whatever his fucking name is that we're obsessed with strong men and we need a female president at this point. Like at one point when we're thinking about electing a guy just because he's jacked out of his mind, or we're like, okay, maybe we gotta bring a broad in here. Yeah. We need passive aggression. If we're gonna beat China, it has to be just underhanded shit. We can't brute force these motherfuckers. Right? We got to hit them with the whole, like, look, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. That, my friends, is how we're going to get under their skin. This was the worst take of Laura Loomer, who is consistently just absolutely the biggest psycho online, who was running for either Congress or Senate. I always get those mixed up. I truly believe the U.S. government is working with the CIA to stage a coup in Russia to oust Putin so that Joe Biden can campaign on toppling Putin in 2024. Just seems like this is all coordinated so Biden can take credit for ending the Ukraine-Russia war and pretend to be a hero. Closing with, the U.S. government is the biggest terrorist organization in the world. Wants to be part of the United States Congress and is posted that the United States is the biggest terrorist group. And that she's right, but you can't say the quiet part loud. My goodness. Even Roseanne would read that and be like, oh, that's a bit much. But yes, Bobby, you were right that I was going to go over, despite the fact that I was concerned about it. In the spirit of strong men everywhere, I feel like we need to watch this interview with the booty warrior. Do you know the booty warrior, Twiz? He was the guy from he was, I think it was HBO. It was like HBO Lockup or some shit that had the single most terrifying interview ever about how cherished a man's booty hole is in prison. Robert, how are we doing here, Robert?
Thought we were rapping, trying to pull it up. Give me 1 sec.
It's the
no, I got it. I
Twitter
just got to make sure you
yeah.
can hear it.
Well, actually, go straight to the one that starts at 140 first, so that we can give and for the uninitiated, if you've been under a rock or in Nigeria, then you'll.
Как будто в кино я хуею. Вот там красный, это Минобороны.
What is happening right now, Bobby? I'm getting weird audio.
Yeah, I know. Hang on, Richie.
Okay. Bobby's getting cranky over there. Jeesh. The episode's not wrapped until we say goodnight, kid. Can you get the other one?
No.
Whoa!
I don't know where the other one is.
Whoa!
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I got you. All right, hang on.
Gigi peasy, Bobby Louise. Getting cranky over there. We'll be with you momentarily. So yeah, this was the legendary booty warrior who kept many a man up at night at just the slightest thought of going to jail ever. Here we go.
I said, I'm telling you what, I like you and I want you. and we can do it the easy way or the hard way. So the choice is yours, right? And it was always yes.
Johnson also had a warning for the new generation of inmates. They might be asking for trouble from old-timers.
You know, they got this thing where they sag their pants past their butt. It's a style. They call it some sort of gangster style. You know, it's sexy to us, right? And see, but they weren't prepared for this, right? So you sag your pants in her, man, somebody be up in your butt, you know, and it just that simple.
Johnson even let the lockup.
Yeah, so before that part of it, he's like, the most cherished thing in the world is booty hole. It's better than water, it's better than air. Booty. So that was 40 years ago that we saw that guy, which time flies. Time flies. Now go to the interview with that dude. It's really, really something. And I mean, just proof that no man can run from time, you know? You got me, Babu?
Yep, working on it. Hang on.
This is one of the most batshit wild things that I've ever seen on as a married man in particular, having a frank conversation.
Nigga, the first piece of sex I had was booty. I went in, don't forget, I went into prison, man. I was in jail at 14, turned 15 in jail, hit prison at 16. I growed up in the penal system. Ain't never had the first American virgin, as you can call me. But when I got introduced to some booty, hey, it was fire too, boy.
It was fire.
Made me close my eyes, man, when I came. But I'll tell you what, you know, I like booty. And yes, my wife will see this. But I already told her, honey, I love you. And she knows I love her. And I'll never cheat on her, which I won't. But I tell her the truth. I miss booty. And she don't do the booty thing, but that's why I miss it. I need some butt. So I'm telling you this, and I brought this to my wife's attention, and she said no, but I'm gonna tell you right now on camera. If there's anybody out there that can help me on some booty, contact me, please. Can you do that for me?
Hold on. Yo, so much just happened in that minute and a half. So this dude, who is literally the most legendary butt rapist of the last 40 years, is now married to a woman who is going to see that clip, but presumably knows that she married the booty warrior. The booty warrior. And somehow he's into consensual P in the V with her. She gets to have some say over it. He will not cheat on her, but would really like some man butt. Dude, you can't possibly figure out what is happening in this shit. With time smooths out all things, Bobby, you know, and even strong men fade. And sometimes the most notorious rapist in the world just has to get on the internet and beg for some butthole.
At least he's asking.
At least he's asking. I'm Richie Redding, and that's really real. This goes up tomorrow. I'm going to be at Paisanos in East Rutherford, and then be at New York Comedy Club on Friday, Gotham on Saturday. We'll see where else for the rest of the week. But yeah, check my social media for dates. Please hit the things and the likes and the whatnots and the shares. And love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening and leaving your snarky little comments the way that you do. But thanks. Bye.
In a world that's been kicked in the nuts by fake news, nobody knows what to believe.
I don't know what I said.
We need one maverick newsman to cut through all the noise and tell us what's really real.
I'm not that guy.